All right. Well, look, let's play the intro. All right. It's Thursday, August 3rd. Yesterday morning, we had a big crowd here. That was awesome. And I told you yesterday morning, we're probably not going to make money today. And we didn't. So it was a tough day. So let's start by looking at SPY QQQR. Listen, we have Amazon and Apple after the close today, which is going to decide what happens next here. But all right, let's take a look. Everything yesterday went below the 20 DMA. SPY, QQQ, ARC, NVIDIA. So it was pretty vicious. And you know, I'm a big DMA person. If we go below the 20 DMA, then we go to the 50. Like that's how I do it, and it's usually pretty successful. But we do have Amazon and Apple, which could basically invalidate that. Let's just look at QQQ first. All right, so QQQ below the 20 DMA on that Fitch catalyst, which we gave you yesterday morning. It broke that. One of the ways that yesterday morning I said we could play that was with VIXI, right? VIXI is a way you could play this uncertainty or the fear of markets now correcting, and that did pretty well since yesterday morning. But QQQ now below the 20 DMA. What's next? Well, you see that 50 DMA right there is at like 366. If you go back and let's go back 6 months, you can see we touched the 20 DMA here, we touched the 20 DMA there, but we did drop below it a little bit here. So not necessarily every time you drop do you get to that 50. So what could prevent this from getting to 50? I think it's going to be Amazon and Apple this afternoon. So let's look at SPY. SPY was barely trying to hold the 20 DMA yesterday, closed just slightly below it. Now it's gapping down below it as well. And here too, a couple times it's saved from actually hitting that 50 DMA. I'm going to come back to both of these charts in a second. Let me just show you ARK now. ARK below the 20 DMA. Now ARK has strong support here at about 45.38, 45.40, 45.38. That was that breakout level. When I got really bullish on ARK, it was when we broke 45.43, and then boom. Remember that? And that was a great call, technically speaking. When we broke out of that level, look what happened to ARK and the ensuing like week after that. So now that should be strong support. Maybe what you could see, not only on ARK but SPY QQQ, you could see the 50 DMA move up over time. So maybe it doesn't straight hit that 50 DMA, but we could maybe see this 50 DMA, which is currently at 44.83, go up over the next couple days, reach 45.43, and that's where ARK bounces off at. Now, going back now, I did want to show you QQQ and SPY one more time. One good item here is the RSI is already at 48, okay? You could see like this RSI over the past, now let me switch to the daily, hold on. Okay, over the past year, RSI, like when you get to these levels, where are we? Like right here, it ended up being a buying up right here, over here. This, the stock market ended up rock. SPY when I was looking at this last night, I was at the 6 month. So like that level right here, you see everything rocketed. So right here we rocketed. Now it doesn't mean you can't get here, right? Maybe that RSI can get to 32. So basically, to me, like we're already at 51. We went from overbought 70s to 51 with just a couple days of sharp pullbacks. So I'm trying to figure out like if we go to 30, that correlates pretty nicely with making a move towards that 50 DMA, both in SPY and QQQ. So take a QQQ and say, okay, worst case scenario, maybe we don't bounce at an RSI of 48. Maybe that RSI goes to 30, and that would correlate pretty nicely with that 50 DMA. And then you basically have a double technical, buy indicator, because you'll be at the 50 DMA at the same time that the RSI is like oversold at around 30. So in my view, I think that this is kind of like the worst case scenario, unless there's a black swan event. If the macroeconomics are still bullish in the intermediate to long term, which right now I still think they are, then you're going to bounce off this 50 DMA in a worst case scenario. How do you get to that worst case scenario? Well, either the market's going to just today, ahead of Amazon and Apple earnings, is just going to have continued momentum off of yesterday's drop, and maybe we hit that intraday today. It's only like another 2% drop. So it's very feasible that happens today, or it happens after Amazon and Apple earnings, right? For Amazon and Apple, when we're over the 20 DMA, I was saying Amazon and Apple would have to beat and raise like by a good amount in order to hold that 20 DMA. Well, now we're below the 20 DMA. So now Amazon and Apple don't have to beat as good anymore to bounce off the 50 DMA. Okay, Amazon and Apple, if they're in line, we bounce off the 50 DMA basically. Okay, if it's a miss, then you have to reevaluate. Maybe look up below. I don't know, but as long as Amazon and Apple are kind of in line, I think you're going to be bouncing off that 50. But again, timing it, I don't know. It might happen before Amazon and Apple earnings. It might happen after. But to me, this is the worst case scenario. And with that possibility, we don't even get to the 20 DMA if we don't hit it today. And then after hours, Amazon and Apple report well, then that could be the end of it. So those are the possibilities. So it's like, it doesn't look like a lot, like another 2%, RK, like another 3% from here or so. Max pain, right? But it is painful to a portfolio, especially if you have risk assets, or it's not even risk assets. Like, look at this Soxel and like SMCI and NVIDIA. They also got clobbered. They were down 5% yesterday. So even if you're in like these safer mega caps, you also were like murdered yesterday. SMCI looks a little healthier than above the 20 DMA. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA broke below the 20 DMA. And that's honestly looking a little bit ugly as well. Like this could hit that 50 DMA. But look at that. It's only like it's almost there, right? It's like it's a big drop and it could hurt a lot, but then it can also bounce back pretty quick. So like, how do you do that? How do you trade that? That's up to you, right? If you're more intermediate to longer term, maybe you do nothing and you sit on your hands, right? If you're trying to day trade and beat the market every day, maybe, well, yesterday was really the signal in the morning after that Fitch news and the night before to short. That was the low hanging fruit. That was the layup to short or buy VIXI or something yesterday morning or the night before. But doing it at this point, I think it's tricky. I think it's really tricky because of everything I just described, right? When do you get to that 50? Is it today? Is it after hours? And then probably bounce right off of it unless earnings are a disaster. So that's the story. It's a lot of uncertainty, as you could tell. It's hard to trade in this market. And yesterday we told you we're probably not going to make money today. That's probably a signal to lay off the accelerator and be in fewer trades, maybe a higher cash position. And I think it's probably much the same today. That being said, all right, we did have one big winner in Overstock yesterday still, our biggest swing position doing pretty well. Let's talk about individual stocks and some opportunities for the day here potentially. First one I want to bring to your attention. First of all, I am aware of Unity earnings, PayPal earnings, Shop earnings. I'm not interested in any of them. I'm not even going to look at them. It's too... look what happened to Uber. Uber beat and it was down. It's really hard right now. All of those stocks have been up a lot. Unity, PayPal, Shop. So unless they have blowout earnings, you're not going to have continuation. They're very hard to play. So I'm just going to skip those. I'm not going to attempt to play Unity, PayPal, or Shop. Now, though, some things I look forward to maybe playing here. Costco. So Costco, this has been on our list recently. Man, now I forgot the catalyst. Was it a big? It was a big upgrade, maybe. Like someone put it like a 625 price target, and we like the chart as well. I don't know if we shared this. Oh, look at that monthly chart. We pointed out this big gigantic cup and handle on the monthly chart. So this is something we're in small size, and maybe now this morning it's an opportunity. Look at this, already up 0.74%. I was like, well, why should I didn't want to buy common shares because I'm like, how much are you going to make on something that's $556? But here, but look, what's happening? Story trading style. You got multiple pillars. You have a bounce or near bounce off the 20 DMA yesterday, and then this morning you have your July sales, which was the first increase in 2 months, reversing. Where's the headline here? Here we go. Costco same-store sales improved in July, reversing 2 months of declines. That's good. Hey, the headline's good sentiment, right? Quantitatively, hopefully that's good for fundamentals. Look at Jeffries on August 2nd. That was yesterday, raising to $640. So now you got like multiple pillars at work on Costco, bouncing off that 20 DMA. And our original target was a 610, I think I said, something like that. So I think this is still in play and maybe a good time to pick up some call options a few months out or common shares, however you'd like to do it. So that's Costco as the top of the list for now. We'll go through these and we'll reorganize them at the end of the show. IBM, another one. Earnings were good on this. I don't know if you remember this. And check out this. This is incredible. So since the earnings report, it's been straight up. But more impressively, do you see any correction here? The whole rest of the market, like this one had it had an intraday correction like yesterday, or was that the day before? Like it had this like one intraday correction. I mean, this is so strong. And then this morning, you had AI news come out. IBM and NASA open source largest geospatial AI foundation model on Hugging Face. You can go read about it. They talk about their Watson AI. So really strong resiliency, relative strength, and good earnings, which we went through. I forgot what exactly the numbers were, but when we covered that morning, we're like, yeah, this is a good report. Relative, I think I added to my IRA that day, IBM. And so this is a candidate for overperformance today with that relative strength yesterday and the AI news this morning. But, it could be tough to be green. I mean, was it green yesterday? It was green yesterday when the market. So it could continue. All right. Now I got an AI headline. So this is a possible candidate to continue. All right. Lantheus. So Lantheus, I did a lot of homework on this one this morning. We've traded Lantheus successfully a couple times in the past. So this was really on my radar. There's a lot of moving parts here in terms of understanding the sentiment. The stock is down even though they beat and they raised. Okay. But here's the thing. They didn't raise for Q3. In fact, their Q3 numbers were a little bit down, but they raised for full year. Why are the Q3 numbers a little bit down? Because look at this. They plan to sell Relistor royalties. They're selling some of their revenue, basically. They're selling some of their revenue, a non-core asset. If you back that out, they're actually raising Q3 as well. So there's a couple things here. Maybe the algos don't get it, number one. Now you see some volume coming in. That's nice. Maybe the algos don't get it, that it's like, oh, Q3 is being guided down, but they don't see the second press release and can't put two and two together to understand that Q3 is being guided down because you have to back out this revenue that they're selling. But then the full year, they raised EPS and revenue for full year anyway. On top of that, Q3, they're losing revenue, but yet they still were able to raise. That's like almost like a double raise, right, for full year. So that's one of the reasons I think it's selling off this morning is, again, I think it may be mostly algos. But there is another aspect to this, which introduces a little bit of risk as we see VIXI keep on flying here this morning, which probably means the markets are still on their way down. But another aspect to understand is on June 21st, there was a competitor that came out that was approved for their main product. So you can see here, this happened a couple days after June 21st. The stock has been heading down, right? And it's been, was it June 21st or May? Sorry, it was May 21st, I think. Yeah, it was right around here. You see that big red candle and it started downtrend? That's because another drug was approved, and now that's competition to the company. So it may be that people are saying, oh, they're selling their non-core asset because they want to invest more in their core asset. Why do they want to invest more in their core asset? Because they're scared of the competition. So that may be weighing on sentiment as well. But put it all together, when you triangulate that with this 200 DMA here at 73.61, actually did pick up some shares at 73.50 and 74. Now the bid is 75 by 77. So I think this is a great opportunity at the 200 DMA here, 73.74. Now, after doing that research, everything I just described to you with the competitor and the sentiment of selling the non-core asset, I'm no longer thinking this can go to 85 today. Well, it could, but that's not my base case anymore. When I was first buying this morning, I started buying at 77, bought all the way down to 73.50. My base case was we're going to bounce back up into the mid 80s today. But again, after understanding the sentiment more, I now see this as simply a bounce off the 200 DMA, a high confidence bounce off this 200 DMA. And we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll go back to the mid 80s. I don't know. After all, this competition has been around for a couple months, so it's not like it's a surprise. So what's the new information today that wasn't there yesterday? Is that their guidance is being increased. The other new information is they're selling their non-core asset, which again, people might read into, oh, they're panicking. They want to invest more in the core asset to compete with this other company. So, all right. So it's a trade. All right. Trade idea off the 200 DMA. I probably not something. I'm not really expecting a big $10 move right at the open anymore after my further research I did this morning. All right. Overstock. Man, I keep looking at VIXI and I'm like, kicking myself because VIXI, man, I identified that yesterday morning, and all right, I just didn't do anything about it. All right. So, in any case, we got Overstock here breaking out. So the levels I've been giving you guys for a long time were 39 and 43. We hit 39 yesterday. We briefly went above it. We're back to 39 this morning, and I am not changing my mind. Even in this downturn in the market, 43 is my next target, which is what? Where is it? It's the weekly moving average. Okay. So 43 is my target right there. But then if you go look at the monthly chart and you see this MACD flip here, like, I don't know, man, like 52 plus might also come into play, which I think where Rex is more holding. I think he's been saying 50s on Overstock. So things are looking really good. This week was just monumental. Like a lot of like one of the things I told you guys, I think a couple days ago, is they're going to see articles everywhere, and that turned out to be true. They're getting so much media attention. It's like it's a major story. Like any kind of media site you go to, financial media, regular media, like everyone's talking about Bed Bath and Beyond is back. So it's been pretty brilliant. This guy's been doing a great job with execution. And 39 to 43 still in play. Why it's getting a pop this morning is actually because of Wayfair. So Wayfair up this morning. They trade in sympathy often. Wayfair beat earnings pretty big, not revenue, and they beat earnings because of cost savings. I don't particularly like those kind of plays. I like to see top line growth also. So I'm not chasing this morning, but I will note the 52-week high was 78.11, and there's a 32% short position. And we had this on our radar. We gave it to you on the show last week, and we were playing it, but we didn't hold it for earnings. We're playing it. Why? Because Piper Sandler upgraded. Do you remember this? Upgraded from 35 to 97. They upgraded from 35 to 97 with a 32% short position. Think back to Carvana and Upstart, right? That was the thesis why we're interested in Wayfair, but I didn't want to hold for earnings. So now it's coming out, and even though it's not what I love, right? We didn't see top line growth really. We're just seeing the earnings because of the cost savings they're doing. So the market's liking that. And at this point, it just may be a technical breakout because 78.11, that 52-week high, if it can hold 78.11, it's trying to do it right now. Look at that. It's trying to hold 78.11. They may squeeze this thing with a 32% short. So it's a curiosity. We may watch this, and who knows, maybe we'll trade it a little bit today. But because they didn't increase the top line, I'm not so interested in trading it, and I may miss it, and I get that, but it's just not up my alley. I don't like trading Carvana, UPST type of stocks that I feel the fundamentals aren't really fully there, and it's just like short squeeze plays. But putting on the radar there in case you want to play it. Now, a few other earnings that came out in microcap world, which our community members have told me about. Thank you, Tony, telling us about Sabre, and then Chris telling us about Infu and CYH. We've talked about these companies. We're familiar with them. Look, there's been a million press earnings releases this morning, and I will agree and acknowledge that Sabre, Infu, and CYH had good earnings reports from what I could see. But these are microcaps, not very liquid. The most liquid one here in pre-market is Sabre. Sabre also gave full year guidance. The other two, I don't think they did. But Sabre, I may be mistaken. Infu gave some sort of guidance, I think. But Sabre, full year guidance was a roughly 10% beat over prior guidance. So, we've done this formula before. 10% beat would take you to, what was the close? Let's see. Well, it's up 5% now. So another 5% would be another 20 cents. So like 408 or something like that. And then if you look at the resistance, we try to correlate it with this. Like we've had resistance at like 418. So maybe 418 is in play, but then you got to deduct it by how much the market goes down today, right? So a little opportunity here potentially. But again, in this market, I'm not sure it's something that you can really hang your hat on as a big like no-brainer opportunity. Just a little bit of a trade here to maybe 4 to 415, 418 area could be in play on Sabre. And I don't know enough about Infu and CYH. Maybe we'll bring Chris Settle. We missed this show yesterday, so we'll have to bring him on. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Infu and CYH have good days today. Look at this. 23 net revenue growth from 8% to 10%. Doesn't seem huge, but the revenue beat looks nicer. They beat by $3 million, 29 to 32 million. So there is something here. They flipped to profitability as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Infu had a nice day, but what are you going to do? Buy it at 11.48 in pre-market? Nope. So no opportunity there right now. Okay. CYH, I know they had a good report here, but given the very high debt load, like I'm not ready to jump on this. So this is something, again, maybe we'll talk to Chris Settle about and get his view on that situation. Really, you'd have to be on the conference call, dig into their guidance and things like that. So I'm not ready to say, hey, that's a big opportunity, but just letting you know that these three could outperform today. Saber, Infu, and CYH. You can look into them and take that trade if you'd like. All right, earnings this afternoon that I'm going to be interested in. Of course, we have Apple and Amazon. I'm more interested in that in terms of what it'll do to the market. But as far as individual opportunities for stocks, I'll be looking at Clearfield, Germtech, and Identiv, companies I'm more familiar with that I think I can interpret that catalyst much better when it comes out to determine if it's a quick buy or not. I will say Clearfield might be down today ahead of earnings. It might be down sharply because their peer, Calm, really shit the bed. Excuse my language. Really bad report come out of Calm. It did have a short limit here at like 424, which didn't fill. It's down not 10%, and it probably deserves to be down 10%. But look at this: 19 cents misses 39 cents. 1.92 billion misses 2 billion. So I'm not going to take a trade at this point at $4, right? So, but yeah, that may be a bad read for Clearfield. So don't be surprised to maybe see Clearfield down into earnings. And who knows, Clearfield might report great earnings. Maybe they're taking market share from Calm. Maybe Calm, maybe it's not a macroeconomic or sector type of thing. Maybe it's specific to Calm, and Clearfield is eating their lunch. We don't know. In the meantime, I would guess Clearfield's going to trade down today, and then we'll see in after hours if there's an opportunity with Clearfield. All right, other things from yesterday. Huge Perry and Apron were the top three picks for the day yesterday, and you had to be nimble. Huge morning quickly got to target one. It had a good morning, but a bad afternoon. It filled the gap and bounced off that gap. We'll see if it can have follow through today. I was looking for 150 to 175, but it's no longer a top pick. RSI is relatively low. It could go to 150 to 175. Maybe worth it to have a small position, but I'm not going to make it a top pick today because the catalyst is now 1 day old. Perry yesterday morning looked like it was working out. It's bucking the market trend. Really good beat and raise. Really good on all metrics, but it just could not make it with the weight of the market pulling it down. Wow, look at VIX at the high of the day here. And Apron also didn't work out unless you bought the dip. People were buying the dip yesterday. Oh, it actually closed down. No. Oh, wow. It's in the afternoon. It also did poorly in the afternoon, but it had a nice bounce in the morning. So I'm keeping Apron. I just think the upside is too much. The sentiment, the FOMO buying ahead of this event next week, I think is going to kick back into gear, and I'll have an opportunity to sell at a profit. That's my thesis. We'll see. Okay, so holding on to Apron, even though we're down, and PSQH as well. We're waiting for that big catalyst to come any day, and that's been painful holding on to that. Hopefully, we'll get a big pop when that catalyst from Tucker Carlson comes, and we can exit at that point. So, been a painful day. INVZ, a couple days. INVZ. As well, now on our radar. I told you a thesis about it yesterday. Not going to put a trade on this today. I did add a little bit to my personal account, small amount, just to hold longer term, perhaps, or intermediate term as I continue to try to learn more about. Look at Saber bounce back, 399 to 4. All right, so let's try to now organize this into what can do the best for today. I see the Lantheus bid is already doing pretty well here. All right, so I'm also looking at pre-market action here to make this determination of what could do best today. I do like Overstock. Okay, it's got to be. I think I like the strength in Saber, so I'm going to move Saber up a little bit. I don't want to trade Wayfair. We'll watch it with curiosity. Okay, it's going to be these. These are the top 5. The question is the order: Costco, IBM, Lantheus, Overstock. IBM looks a little bit boring, but so I'm going to move it down to like 5. And then Lantheus, I told you like that it's just a bounce off this level. It's looking good though. It's already now. Now the bid keeps increasing on Lantheus. Okay, and Overstock is going to be a lot of fun. You know what? It's our favorite. So we've been killing it. We've been killing it with Overstock. Let's just move that up there. Okay, I'm starting to like this order. All right. So Costco, but more like you're not going to make big money unless you do call options. So be careful with that if you do that. But Costco, Overstock, Lantheus, like another 10, 15 cents from here, and IBM. Okay. And then we're watching Wayfair, who could do crazy stuff. All right. So that's it. I think we're going to lock it in here. Again, this environment, don't be a hero. Okay. Be careful. Maybe take quick profits. Maybe keep some cash on the sidelines if you'd like. Maybe some hedge with VIX or whatever tool you want to use. It is that type of market right now. It's not our favorite type of market. We got to wait for a level to be hit so we can bounce back up again. So we'll see. Could take time, and maybe Amazon and Apple resolve everything for us. Oh yeah, Run. I don't know Run well, but let's look because I know I can't. I just don't know this well enough. But Run had earnings, a solar company. It's up. It's above the 20 DMA. Maybe something to look into. It's not on my watch list. That's why I don't know about it. I don't have room to add it. Okay, I'll add it, but then I got to delete something. Okay. All right, that's it, man. Good luck, guys. Cost, Overstock, Lantheus, Sabre, IBM. Watch Wayfair for some fireworks potentially. Maybe watch Rum. After hours, can't wait for DermTech and Clearfield earnings. All right. I forgot to do the Zoom yesterday at 4 p.m. I was just like, last 2 days, I was not like on top of my game because I didn't have my partner, his back. So I'll let you know. It's just so many earnings. I don't know. Even if we do like a Zoom, we're not going to be talking. We're just going to be like live trading and stuff. So maybe we'll do that. We'll see. All right. So we'll see you guys later. There's a lot of shows today. What do we have? We have 12 p.m. Rex. So be back for Rexman trades at 12 p.m. We have our 1 p.m. update. And then don't we have another show? We have SMSI a preview, earnings preview next Tuesday morning, I believe. So stay tuned for that. We'll reschedule Chris Tuttle. We'll let you know when we're doing that. And just stay tuned for notifications in the app in case we do a Zoom at 4 p.m. All right, guys. Good luck. I'm out of here.